Hey, good morning. All right, Natalie, I have a bunch of questions about this. I'm going to do my best to answer them for you. I hope you can hear me. The microphone's kind of far away, but we'll try and make this work. So I replicated this picture kind of the best I can. Sorry, my drawing skills are not so good. And they didn't give you a whole lot of information, but they gave you enough to solve all these problems. So they told you that this angle over here, APC over here was 15. They told you that arc AC was 70, and they told you that the ratio for arc CD to arc BD was 3 to 2. Okay, so I saw on your paper, you mark that off as 3x and 2x, which is good. Okay, so I can get rid of this. The first question was, question A, what is the measure of arc? So what's the measure of, I'm sorry. So they wanted to know the measure of, I don't know, arc AB, I believe it was. I believe it was arc AB. Hold on, I'm trying to check the question just to make sure that was it. Yes, okay, so I'm sorry about that. All right, so yeah, they wanted arc AB. So they gave you enough information to solve this. So pretty much you have to know that if you have a tangent and you have a secant, and this is true whether it's a tangent, a secant, or a tangent or a secant, which is what you have here, is that the measure of the two arcs, if you subtract, the big arc, this one, minus the smaller arc, this one, and then you go ahead and multiply that by 1/2 or divide by 2, whatever you feel comfortable with, it will equal this angle out here, your exterior angle. So essentially, normally what we say is that your angle, your exterior, whatever it is equal to 1/2, big minus small. Okay? So, and that's true for tangents, secants, any combination of those two. Okay? So here, that's angle P is equal to 1/2. Well, your big one is going to be arc AC minus your small one, which is AB, which is what we want from the problem. The problem wants to know what's the measure of arc AB. So, just a little bit of quick algebra. Well, I know P is 15. They told me the arc AC is 70 degrees, and AB is what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so I have 15 distribute is equal to 35 minus 1/2 arc AB. Okay, we're going to subtract 20, subtract 35, so it's going to be negative 20 equal to negative 1/2 AB, right, which means that AB is going to be equal to 40 degrees. Okay, so just a little quick algebra, right? We subtracted here, right? And then we divided by negative 1/2 here, or multiply by negative 2, whatever you feel comfortable doing with. But again, just essentially a little bit of algebra. The big problem is knowing the rules, and none of the rules for circles are particularly difficult. Some are a little bit harder to prove, but as far as just the rules themselves, they're not very complicated. There's a lot of them. So the biggest challenge that a lot of people have is just remembering what's what. For this one, I always tell my students, it's always the same formula, whether it's a secant, tangent, or a combination of the two. All right. So, question B. Question B wants to know, hold on, wants to know what's the measure of arc BD. Well, BD is, this one right here that they gave you a little bit of information about. But now you know some of the missing parts, right? So the big thing is that arc AC plus arc, let's just go straight around, CD plus arc DB plus arc BA. All the arcs, that's all the way around the circle, right? So that's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's all the way around the circle. Okay, so we know that that's got to be equal to 360. And we know some of those now. We know that AC is 70 degrees, right? He gave us that. We just figured out that AB or BA, however you want to phrase it, is 40 degrees. And we know now that we have CD is 3x and DB is 2x. I saw you had that marked up in your paper, so I don't think I have to explain that. Is equal to 360. 70 and 40 is 110. So subtract 110 from over here. Subtract 110 from over here. Okay, and I'm going to get 5x is equal to 250, right? Which means that x is going to be equal to 50 degrees, right? Just be careful. That is not the answer. That is not how big BD is. BD is 2 times that. Okay, so just be careful. I know a lot of times you feel like you've won when you got to this point. Do yourself a favor, okay? So that's 2x is going to be 100 degrees. Sorry, finish that up over here. So BD is equal 100 degrees. Good? No worries there. I believe the next part is what's CD? Well, CD, okay, this is part CD is equal to 3 times 50, which makes this 150 degrees right here. Good? Okay, so again, if you check them, if they add them all up, they should add up to 360. So we got 50 and 100 is 250. 250 and 40 is 290, plus 70 is going to be 360. Good? Alrighty then. Alright. Next part, we got angle PAB. Angle PAB. Angle PAB. Okay, which is this little guy right in here. Okay, so it appears to be, relatively close. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to pause this for a second. I know it didn't, nothing happened with you, but I've been going for a few minutes. All right, so PAB, we're finding PAB. So the big thing for this is that, and this is, I believe this is part B, question B. PAB, okay, go away. Go away. All right, so PAB is equal to 1/2 of the intercepted arc, okay? So PAB is to be 1/2 of arc AB, okay? So again, just another, just not a complicated rule, but just one more thing that you have to remember. Anyways, angle PAB is equal to 1/2 of 40 degrees, which we found earlier, which means that angle PAB, angle PAB is equal to 20 degrees, okay? So I'm going to draw a little arrow and say 20 degrees now. All right, so just real quick way to remember this one. Let's just say, for example, you had a tangent line, right? Well, again, we know that that's a right angle, right? And we also know that if it goes to the middle, that's going to be 180 degrees. Well, again, there's your 1/2 right there, right? Right? If this is, sorry. Back. Just walking into my question. All right, let me start from the top because I messed up. All right, so again, just remember if you had a circle and this were a tangent line coming to it, right? That again, we see this angle gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So this arc that we were just talking about, right? So just kind of keep that in mind that as this gets bigger and bigger and bigger, well, this arc right here, this arc that we're talking about right here, which again is similar to this arc right in here, As it gets bigger, eventually it kind of like locks in at 90 degrees. Then you have your semicircle that's 180 degrees, and this which is 90, which is 1/2. So that's how I remember. But again, it's not a complicated rule. It's just one more that you have to remember. You know, all these 2-to-1 ratios and things like that. But you know, whatever works, I suppose for you is the best course. All right. Next part. What else was that? That was PAB. The next one is BCD. Here's BCD. So BCD. BCD is an inscribed angle. Okay, so another little rule you have to remember. Inscribed angles are 1/2 of the intercepted arc. Okay, remember if they're central angles, they're equal to the intercepted arc or congruent with the intercepted arc. But here, we know that angle BCD is inscribed, which means it's equal to 1/2 of the intercepted arc, which is the D. Well, we found that 1/2 of 100 is going to equal BCD, which is going to be 50 degrees. Okay? Good, so it's going to be 50 right here. Good? All right. Not too hard, that's usually the first thing I go with my kids. Again, easy rules, try and remember them all. The next one is ADC, I believe, or no, the next one asks for CED. Oh no, we did that one, CED. The next one asks for ABP. So CED. Oh no, I'm sorry. The next one asks for CED, this angle right here. I'm sorry, CED. Okay. Which again in itself is kind of pain to find, but we do know this: if we found angle BCD, right? That was 50, and we can also using the same formula or using the same concept, say ADC. Well, ADC is equal to 1/2 of its intercepted arc, arc AC. So angle ADC is equal to 1/2 70, which means that it's equal to 35 degrees. Okay, so it's 35 right here. And now all of a sudden this becomes much more manageable. It's a triangle, right? So again, once we know those two things, we know that I'm going to call them just real quick E, C, and D. Okay, just to keep things a little bit clearer, because there's a lot of angles here. Okay, so angle C plus angle E plus angle D is equal to 180. Okay, so angle C was 50. Angle E we don't know, so we're trying to find out, and angle D is 35. Which again, you do a little math work there, and you'll find out that angle E. I'm sorry, is going to be equal to 95 degrees. 95 degrees, right? 50 and 35 is 85. 180 minus 85 is going to be 95 degrees. So that's when angle CED is going to be equal to 95 degrees, which will help us out a little bit because we can kind of use that to check one of our other angles. That's supposed to be 95 degrees, which is getting full. All right. I'm sorry, sub-label means that was part F? Yeah, that was E and F. Right. So G. G. We want to know the measure of A, B. So ABP, ABP. Where's ABP? Oh, ABP is this guy right here. Okay. Which again, not too difficult once we kind of know some of the other things. There's more than one way to solve this, but I mean the easiest way is I have triangle A, P, B, right? A, P, B. Well, I know, A plus P plus B equal 180, right? I know that A is 20. I know that P is 15, and I know that B is what we're trying to find out. There's 20, and 15 is 35, 180 minus 35 is going to be 145. Good? So this is going to be 1, should I draw a bigger picture? 145 degrees. Okay? All right, and is it one more? More. Part H. Part H. And measure angle PAD. PAD is right here. Okay, and it's the same thing, right? This is going to be 1/2 of arc ABD. ABD. So this guy right in here. Okay, right? The same as we said before, it's going to be 1/2. So we're going to say the measure. Sorry, I'm going to say angle PAD is equal to 1/2. 1/2 of arc ABD. ABD we know, I got a little bit of addition, but this arc was 100, and this arc in here was 40. So measure of angle PAD is equal to 1/2 of 140. So the measure of angle PAD is going to equal 70 degrees. Okay? Sorry that took so long. I hope you got something out of that. I guess if you got any more further questions, or if you want me to again further explain some of these, I know I went through them real fast. I got a couple different ways to remember some of these things. If there's, whatever works for you. You want to sit down and try and memorize 100 formulas. If that works for you, that works for you. If you want to try and understand them, you can look them up, or just let me know if you have any problems, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so have a great day and good luck with all this stuff, and I'll talk to you soon.